I would like to ask Patrick, the Greens have stated they support the reform of the Gender Recognition Act to include the ability to self-ID as opposite sex. This weekend, Patrick referred to women protesting against this as racist and phobic. Many found this, including myself, incredibly insensitive and insulting, and frankly came across as quite hysterical. With that said, I would like to ask, does Patrick and the Green Party respect women and girls' rights to single-sex spaces away from male bodies, and can he confirm what a woman is?
Well, I didn't say that transphobia is racism. I said that it's akin to racism. And, we do need to recognise that this very, very small marginalised group of people, transgender people, do experience an extraordinary level of hostility, hatred and violence. And I think it's reasonable that we look at the promises that were made by all 5 political parties 5 years ago at the last election to reform the Gender Recognition Act in the way that other countries already have done, and recognise those broken promises need to be addressed. And actually things like trans healthcare are hugely important as well. Trans people in Glasgow having to wait 3 years or more, not for treatment, but just for their first appointment, and up to a year and a half beyond that for their follow-up appointment. So the recognition that trans people are being discriminated against and given a pretty raw deal and on the receiving end of a huge amount of hostility, that's really important.
I haven't answered my question, whether women can actually have spaces away from male bodies and what a woman is.
Well, I mean, some of this kind of rhetoric seems to imply that trans women should be treated as though they're men and that trans men should be treated as though they're women. And that has been dealt with 15 years ago by the passing of the original Gender Recognition Act. And the reason that the UK government passed that act was that trans people's human rights were being breached in the absence of a system of gender recognition. So, the people who seem to want to abolish this entire system, rather than just not even reform it, but seem to want to abolish it altogether, do need to recognise that would be a breach of trans people's human rights.